Hello everyone, it's 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. Central European Time. How is everyone doing? It's fantastic. I say, let's go.
Monday, June 29, 3 p.m. Central European Time, the EPIC Online Technology Meeting is on Ophthalmology. Our eyesight changes as we get older, so we need to wear contacts or glasses, especially for reading. But many people are choosing to use laser treatment to correct things. With a 99% success rate for LASIK surgery, it is one of the safest operations in the world. But the field of ophthalmology is not standing still. The future is going towards higher resolution. Imagine that we can actually go in high resolution both in the vertical and in the horizontal axis. We will have a 3D map of every single layer in the eye, real time during the operation, giving the ophthalmologist more information for better real-time decisions. So on Monday, June 29th, we are bringing specialists in the field for a detailed discussion on the latest development in laser eye surgery. What are the challenges that need to be solved, and how can collaboration amongst companies give us better solutions in a shorter time? I'll be watching on Monday, June 29th at exactly 3 p.m. Central European Time. I invite you to do the same.
Thank you very much, and it's time to start the number 33 of the EPIC Online Technology Meetings, and they have been so exciting. I cannot believe when we started on the 1st of April with Francesca on a meeting on femtosecond laser, we could not really venture the idea that this was going to be such a huge success on the industry. The videos are now over 30,000 views in YouTube. The people are connecting. We're getting great feedback on the connections. Everything is working great, and we're only 6 meetings away from the summer holidays, and then we come back on the 31st of August. So the EPIC Online Technology Meetings are here to stay. Today we are talking about ophthalmology, and we, as I said before, we already have 6 meetings planned for the rest of the week, 7 meetings planned for the rest of the Q2. And we finish on the 15th of July with ADAS and autonomous driving. The feedback and the push from the industry for these meetings have been so amazing that EPIC has recruited also a lot of members these days. We have now, I think it's close to 575. Our latest member is in the room, Marcus. Thank you very much for joining EPIC. We got your form, I think, about 1 hour ago. Thank you for supporting the association, for supporting the family of EPIC. Not only the EPIC members, but also the EPIC staff. And I would say there is so much work. There is so much work behind the organization of all these meetings. I would like to give a tribute to these people that you have in front of you. They work so hard from Monday to Sunday, from the morning till the evening, answering questions, connecting companies, understanding the supply chain, finding users. It's a great team. A team that is focused on organizing these online technology meetings, also the presence events in Q4, the connections and the access to the network, the investment. So if any of you is looking for raising capital, we have now 80 investors in our network, and also finding people for covering the job openings of the EPIC members. So if anybody is looking for a job or have a job opening, the website to visit is jobs.A-Photonics.com. And also would like to remind all EPIC members that I spend a lot of money on buying market reports. So please access the market reports that you have because you're a member of EPIC. By the way, we have one on 2-photon microscopy you should have a look at. But I also would like to say that I'm still alive. Last Wednesday, we organized a 24 hours World of Photonics tour. I chaired a meeting non-stop for 24 hours. Anything that you do in life with no break for 24 hours is crazy, but doing this was crazier than average. And it was a crazy idea from Carlos, and we survived. And what is most important, all the presentations are now in the YouTube channel. So if you want to rewatch any of them, there were 72 top speakers from all over the world. You can rewatch them. And also, this is EPIC. If you want to get in touch with any of the participants, all you have to do is send me an email and I will make the introduction. But today is ophthalmology, a very important market for EPIC, for the EPIC members, for the members active in optics, active in lasers. So first of all, I would like to acknowledge the support of the sponsors today. This meeting wouldn't have been possible without the support of OPTOMAN. So if you are looking for IBS coatings, if you are looking for high-end laser optics, especially for the ultra-fast market, go to OPTOMAN, go to Lithuania, go to Vilnius. These are the best IBS coating process you can find. If you're looking for superluminescent diodes, then Superlum is the answer. All the way in Cork, in Ireland, Superlum manufactures superluminescent diodes, and they have been getting awards for being the ideal source for OCT. If you're looking for laser filters, you have to go to my friends at Chroma. These are the best, possibly the best optical filters you can find in the market. I think especially they are perfect for the very, very flat top filters. It's a great company customizing optical filters for any other application. If you're looking for aspherical optics, you're looking for high-end optics, you're looking for freeform optics, any optics in which you need very, very specific metrology system, very accurate dimensions, Asphericon, from the capital of optics in Jena, Asphericon is really the company of choice. And if you're looking for any laser components, so how can I say, from QCL all the way to infrared detectors, light sources, anything, Hamamatsu is the great supplier of all the laser components that there are in the market, and we are very happy to have these 5 companies at EPIC. I'm very happy also that with the support we can continue doing our crazy adventure. But today also we have an amazing menu, really nice set of speakers, and we have a fantastic co-chair, so I would like to give the floor to Francesca Moglia. Dr. Moglia, what's in the menu?
Thank you, Jose, for the word, and thank you also for being here also from my side. Welcome. Yes, as we said, we have a nice menu, so 8 speakers today. But as usual, this is a bit the boring slide, right, Jose? So we like to see who really is in the room, and we really see it on this slide, our value chain. And as usual, I mean, today we are concentrating on a sector, so a more surgical one, so not only surgical, but also on the imaging part, on only ophthalmology. So it's really important to know who is really using and integrating ophthalmic systems. So that's why we are really proud that we have here 4 categories belonging to ophthalmic systems. So we have Intel on Optics that will tell us about Brillo and optical scanning. We have Twice Vision, experts in multifocal correction. We have experts in surgical equipment in general, so Apasami Associates and ACAR, and then retina imaging, so very focused to the topic. So with Imaging Eyes, Killer, and Optos, we have really great experts today. But then, of course, all the rest is there not only to listen to what they want or what they demand, but also to collaborate with each other and with them as well. And the first idea that is always the part that I like is looking also to the future of ophthalmology. So it's really nice. We have here from the laser process side and from metrology side, also the ophthalmology R&D representatives. So thank you for being here. And then, of course, OCT, we heard it already, it can be really a big player in ophthalmology. So thank you for being here to the OCT micromodules expert in assembly and development. So thanks for being here. Then Microsoft, really important also for this specific application. So microscopy experts are here with us today. Then, as we know, of course, the more active part of ophthalmology can be the surgery part, and ultrafast lasers are always an important tool to be used. And I'm really happy to have here 6 representatives from ultrafast laser today, so welcome. But also we have laser diodes and superluminescent diodes that, as we heard already, as a sponsor. So thank you for being here also from the laser side. And then, of course, there is no laser and there is no patient if you cannot reach it with some optics. So there are really a different kind of experts in laser components and laser optics. So laser components and optical systems representatives are here, but also many representatives and experts in ophthalmic lenses and optics. So in different fields, so glass molding, for example, intraocular lenses, filters, micro-optics, of course, adaptive optics, coatings, and also 3D printing of optics. And then it's really important that the lenses can be tested. So ophthalmic lens testing experts are also here. So let's not forget this. This is also can be a topic of great discussion. And then, of course, you don't have a system if you cannot integrate it properly. So we have 2 experts from the integration side. So our European-funded pilot line, MedFab, but also in general system integration engineering experts. And then, of course, is a special market. So it's good to have also consultancy and market intelligence partners that can tell us a bit what is going on in this field at the moment and maybe in the close future. But now, I guess, Jose, you
Grazie mille, Francesca. It's so good that she can communicate so much information in about 2 minutes. It's incredible. I would like to say that many companies will be wondering that the logo is not here. Please remember, I never forget any of the 575 members of EPIC. I never forget them. This slide only represents the companies who registered for this meeting. And now I would like to say hello to the people who are watching this in YouTube. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat. But also, if you want to get in touch with any of the participants today, all you have to do is send me an email, jose.pozo@epic-asop.com. This is also valid for people in the Zoom room. You saw the slide with all the participants today. Some of them are here, some of them are watching. If you want to get in touch with any of the companies that Francesca just mentioned, all you have to do is send me an email, jose.pozo@epic-asop.com. Thank you, our sponsors, Hamamatsu, OPTOMAN, asphericon, Superlum, and Chroma. You really rock. Let's start. And there is no best way, there is no better way to start a meeting like this than to go to one of the key companies in the ophthalmology market segment that we have an EPIC. Amplitude laser, their ultra-fast laser system, has been recognized as one of the key solutions for laser sources in the ophthalmic industry. We have the very good luck to have François Guillot with us. François, thank you very much for starting this meeting. The floor and the attention of everyone goes to you, goes to France, goes to Amplitude.
Hello, everybody. So my name is François Guillot. I'm in charge of the business development for medical application for Amplitude Laser Group. I will start with a short introduction of Amplitude and go deeper into details in our fields of expertise and talk about our experience in ophthalmology. So who are we? Amplitude is a leader company specialized in ultra-fast laser. Since 2001, our headquarters is based in Bordeaux, in France, but we have manufacturing sites, support centers, application labs in France, California, China, Taiwan, and Korea. We have more than 400 employees working worldwide for Amplitude, and our manufacturing sites is ISO 13485 certified, based on our experience in the medical field. So Amplitude have three main fields of expertise. First is the science with high intensity and energy physics, but also life science, including spectroscopy and imaging. We are also working in the industry, serving demanding markets such as the display industry, semiconductor, consumer electronics, and microprocessing, and finally, medical, including proton therapy, X-ray imaging, dental surgery, aesthetic, and of course, ophthalmology. So let's talk a little bit about ophthalmology. The use of a femtosecond laser in ophthalmology takes us back to the 90s and eventually started by an accident. A student from the University of Michigan, led by the Nobel laureate Gérard Mourou, accidentally got a CPA laser beam in his eyes. And the ophthalmologist named Ronald Kurtz, who examined the student, found out that the damage in the cornea was simply perfect. And that was back in 1993. Then quickly after, Ronald Kurtz, associated with Dr. Duhas and his associates, designed the prototype of the first ophthalmic surgical femtosecond laser system in the CUOS. And then the Intralaser Corporation was founded in 1997, still in Michigan, and the Intralaser Pulsion FS laser was approved for use by the FDA for lamellar corneal surgery in January 2000. 9 years after, Lambda-X received the FDA clearance for its laser to create anterior capsulotomies in August 2009, and followed by the clearance for creation of corneal incision in December 2009. In February 2010, so the year after, Stephen Slade, the medical director of Lambda-X, performed the first laser cataract surgery in the US on 50 consecutive eyes. So it was the very beginning of the use of femtosecond laser in ophthalmology. The pathway to commercial viability of Lensar's femtosecond laser for cataract surgery traces back to an original intention for presbyopic correction. And the first Amplitude laser for ophthalmology was designed back in 2003, almost 17 years ago. So what can we do with the femtosecond laser? Corneal grafting, refractive surgery, either cutting a corneal flap pre-LASIK or create lenticule to avoid the use of an excimer laser. Cataract surgery, including incision, capsulorhexis, and pre-cut of the lens, presbyopia with presby LASIK, and IOL modification in situ. And the question is, what will we do in the future with the femtosecond laser? There's already existing techniques that are still being developed in refractive surgery, for instance, with corneal lenticule extraction for refractive correction. In cataract surgery with IOL in situ modification, the goal is to fine-tune the refractive power post-operatively into the IOL. But also we can design the future of ophthalmology with new techniques. In cataract, for instance, with what is called photoemulsification. So the goal is to get rid of the ultrasound phacoemulsification by using a femtosecond laser. In refractive, the LYRIC, for instance, laser-induced refractive index change, create an optically superior Fresnel lens patterns to correct the visual impairments such as presbyopia, myopia, hyperopia, etc. And in glaucoma with the femtosecond laser, sclerostomy, which could be used, and that could be the perfect alternative for minimally invasive glaucoma surgical therapy. In presbyopia, we could use a femtosecond laser to soften the lens. And why not, in the future, the posterior segment could be the next field of opportunities. Laser beam could replace thin and hard handling hand instruments for retinal surgery. So as you can see, this is just the very beginning of the use of femtosecond laser in ophthalmology. So now let's answering to the EPI question. What can you do for Amplitude? First, provide the best innovative components to continuously improve the performance of our laser source and develop interdisciplinary collaboration to address potential new application. And what Amplitude can do for you? First is to provide the best and the world's most advanced laser for ophthalmology application and be an innovative partner to build the future of ophthalmology. Thank you very much. If you have any question.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your talk. Yeah, this was really clear. So we have already the slide for the epic slide with the epic questions. So do we have some questions for François? They're still all shy today, but we can maybe say you mentioned two technologies that basically are a bit more the traditional one, but 5 basically examples in your slide that are really more the futuristic technology. Could you be maybe more specific on, for example, you mentioned the optical components that you would like to receive, so perfect one for the new technology. Maybe if you can specify a bit more in this direction, maybe one example of the new, a bit next future technologies.
Actually, on the component, it's quite difficult to say. The goal is to determine what would be the performance of the next laser to be used in ophthalmology. As you know, for corneal surgery or cataract surgery, we're using almost the same performance for every laser. The wavelength is the same. The pulse duration is almost approximately the same for every laser. In the future, we may have to change this specification. So obviously change the component, but it's difficult to say right now.
Okay, I see. So if there is no other comments, we can maybe keep you there. Don't leave us. We will need you for sure for future consultancy today. So we can go to the next speaker. So it's time today for Axel Kasper to follow from Excelitas Qioptiq. Welcome. And
Thank you very much, Francesca.
The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jose, for the opportunity to give a presentation here. So let me share my screen. Okay, so I would like to briefly introduce what is Excelitas Technologies and Qioptiq doing in the field of ophthalmology. So first, let me start with a mission statement for Excelitas as a company. So we want to provide innovative photonic components and subsystems to global customers who seek the highest performance solutions from our market-driven partner. But what does that mean specifically for ophthalmology. That's what I'm going to explain after a few more introductory slides. So first, very short look at Excelitas. We are a global company with an annual revenue of about $950 million US. We have close to 7,000 employees who work in 17 factories around the world. The history of Excelitas goes back quite a long time. So the Excelitas portion started back in 1947 with the development of specific sensors for photonics applications. Then the analytical instrumentation division became Perkin-Elmer, and in 2010, Excelitas spun off from Excelitas technology from Perkin-Elmer and became Excelitas Technologies. So the optics part of Excelitas goes even back more. So the history of Qioptiq, which used to be Linus before, used to be Spindler and Hoyer, and Rodenstock before, goes back to the 19th century. So we have really extremely long history in optics and photonics here. Okay, what does ophthalmology mean for Qioptiq? What is very important for us is we always want to understand the application, what is needed from the user side, and we want to translate this into optics requirements, optics concepts. So in the field of ophthalmology, we deal a lot first with retinal imaging and laser treatment of the retina. So this is several applications: fundus photography, scanning laser ophthalmoscopy, optical coherence tomography, retinal photocoagulation. But we are also, and very importantly, active in the field of femtosecond laser refractive and cataract surgery, doing laser optics beam delivery systems for laser microkeratotomy, capsulotomy, lens fragmentation. Then also very important, eye biometry, what is very important for the preparation of a laser procedure. And then we also do optics subsystems for surgical microscopes and slit lamps. Yeah, what do we have specifically to offer for ophthalmology? So we have a couple of fields from different branches of Excelitas. First, we have optical coherence tomography systems with Axon OCT swept laser engines and Axon OCT data acquisition. Then we have a lot in photon detection. We have avalanche photodiodes available both in TIA Inside and TO cans, balanced receiver modules, single photon light detection modules. Then we also have illumination systems, LED illumination systems in particular. But today, I want to share two examples with you for complex, custom designed, integrated optical systems. So these systems comprise very often multiple beam path, scanning functionalities. Some things need to be motorized. And I want to look into two examples of that. First, laser beam delivery system for a femtosecond laser cataract and refractive surgery. The typical scope of what we are doing in Qioptiq is we do the laser beam path, which includes the XY scanning, which provides a diffraction limited focus inside the corneal or in general the eye tissue, providing very high numerical aperture. This can go up to 0.6, pretty large field of view, up to 12 millimeter, wide focusing range, up to 10 millimeter from the cornea into the eye. Then these systems typically need diagnostic beam paths to be included with the overall system to provide a live image of the surgical field, to provide an OCT imaging beam path for monitoring the process, or to just monitor the laser power. And we provide also this illumination of the surgical field. Then a second nice example that we did for ophthalmology was a very interesting one. We did a needle endoscope. We did a feasibility prototype with an outer diameter of just 0.6 millimeter, which goes into a 23 gauge trocar system. With a 25 millimeter needle length and 5 to 10 millimeter working distance and a 1.6 to 3.2 millimeter field of view. Below you see an image of the endoscope tip, and you also see an image of the whole laser optics. This is the needle here, which is full of actually polished optics. And what was very fantastic is that we achieved a great imaging quality. You see that on the right, that we had an unprecedented image quality through this extremely tiny optic systems. Okay, briefly, how we work with our OEM customers. Ideally, we work from the very first concept of a product through design, consultation, design of the individual components, integration of the system, through prototyping, and then finally our ultimate goal, the volume production. Okay, now the epic questions. What we seek: customers that challenge our photonic design and technological capabilities, and the development and manufacture of groundbreaking products for ophthalmology, and also, of course, other medical disciplines. And then new technologies that complement our portfolio and help us tackle new challenges and keep us building cutting-edge medical products. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. When I see the slide with the epic question, I get so happy, I get goosebumps. It is really, really great. I understand a little bit that when it comes to femtosecond lasers for ophthalmology, a very important part it is to do the pulse shaping. Are you looking for potential partners, collaborators? Do you have solutions on that?
So actually, for us, the laser source is something which is typically combined only with our system only at the customer side. So the customer does the integration of the full system. So adding a power supply, adding all the electronics to drive the system, adding the laser source. So for us, the laser is, we just need to know exactly the parameters. And in terms of beam shaping, we typically need a perfect Gaussian beam with the perfect n square. So that's the basis for the quality that is actually needed in the corneal tissue.
Axel, you are looking for, I'm reading, new technologies that complement our portfolio. So your wish is always my demand. I was yesterday, because I work every day even on a Sunday, I was calling to some of my friends in Spain because I know two super innovative startups there are actually getting a lot of interest in the industrial community. In Madrid, there is a company called Two Eyes Vision. This company is one of the ones to watch. I contacted them yesterday and they're so amazing. They replied, they didn't get very upset. Susana Marcos, thank you very much for joining this meeting today.
Thank you, Jose. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm coming with two hats. I'm a professor of research in the Institute of Optics. I'm also the co-founder of Twice Vision, which I think is the company you're interested in.
In the field of multifocal correction, your company is attracting a lot of interest in this industry. Could you tell us what multifocal correction is, what you do at Two Eyes Vision?
Mm-hmm. Well, multifocal corrections are one of the possible solutions for presbyopia. So presbyopia is the loss of accommodation, the loss of the ability to see near and far that happens when you are 45 years of age. And beyond. So that means that it's a condition that affects millions and millions of people worldwide. So one of the solutions are these multifocal corrections where there are two foci, one corrected far, the other one corrected for near, that are provided in the eye. So when I'm explaining this to you, it's very hard to imagine how one is going to see with the multifocal correction. And there are many in the form of contact lenses, in the form of intraocular lenses, and also in the form of corneal profiles, right? That you achieve with Presby LASIK, which is a modality of corneal reshaping. So what Twice Vision has developed is a headset, which is a see-through instrument that gives you a series of multifocal corrections that the patient sees through and can actually see how the visual world with those corrections. So it's binocular, so you can try different corrections in different eyes, and it's see-through, so you really see the world through those perspective corrections. So our immediate partners, of course, are the contact lens manufacturers, the intraocular lens manufacturers, as well as LASIK and laser corrections in the cornea, as we can mimic any correction that is applied in the eye and make the patient experience it before surgery.
Susanna, this is epic. This is different to any of the OSA meetings, which I know you have been very successful in the last weeks, but this is about collaboration. This is about getting together and work together. You already saw the previous two speakers. They call the epic question. What can you do for them? What can they do for you? This is your first ever. This is about challenges in the supply chain. Give us a couple of challenges we can help you with.
Yeah, so I mean, if there is a laser company, right, coming up with a new profile to reshape the cornea, to provide a multifocal correction, to provide monovision, these corrections that are both refractive and presbyopic corrections, we can actually mimic and program those profiles into SynVis and partner with those companies to bring those corrections to the patient prior to surgery, to bring those to the surgeons to test them themselves, when they're attempting to buy this laser. So it's really it's all about customizing and choosing the best corrections for a patient. So we provide this experience. We need the final solution to be administered and deployed through a laser, through a lens.
Axel, I told you. You see, this is, you come here with a request. Your wish is my demand. This is obviously a clear partnership, but of course, anybody who's interested in providing the laser that Susanna demands, you can simply ask a question now, or of course, I will introduce you later. Any questions? Any questions for Susanna on the laser that she's demanding? Most important, what wavelength, what power, what are you looking? Can you give us a couple of parameters we can play with? Susanna, can you give us a couple of specifications, a couple of parameters, wavelength, power?
Yeah, so those can be either refractive laser through ablation, common ablation, or through lenticules like SMILE. So in fact, any laser that is currently being used as a way to reshape the cornea, I mean, we're interested in those profiles and in optimizing those profiles for patients' comfort and for patients' preference.
Thank you very much, Susanna, for being here. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. It was great to have you. I promise I will come to visit you in Madrid as soon as I can fly again. I'm desperate. Another one, Axel, just for you, because you come with a demand. Another one for you. There is a startup in a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful city. I will say beautiful so many times, Murcia. A startup in the south of Spain. And they do adaptive optics for the ophthalmology sector. Pablo Artal, how are you doing today?
Hello, very good. Thank you very much.
This is an epic meeting. We want to know a little bit of what you do, because Excelitas is looking for partnerships, what you do, and the epic question, what can you do for them, what can they do for you?
Well, we are a startup company. Actually, I'm a professor of optics at the university, and I'm working for many years in basically translating optical concepts to biomedicine, and in particular to ophthalmology. And basically, we focus in adaptive optics. That, as many of you know, is a technology that allows to manipulate wavefronts in a very broad sense. And we develop in the lab what we call an adaptive optics visual simulator. And we basically, in Optica, we build an instrument that is CE mark and is already in different, okay, this is the guy, And the idea of this instrument is basically combining wavefront sensor. So we measure the optics of the eye in an objective way. And on the other hand, we have a spatial light modulator. It's a liquid crystal based spatial light modulator to manipulate the wavefront. So we can basically induce any different wavefront into the patient eye. And we can simulate different optical corrections before surgery. So I think that's basically the trick. We are basically combining with our own intraocular lenses. So we design a new intraocular lenses that basically we are testing in advance into the adaptive optics visual simulator. Your epic question, I have a lot of them because we are one of our main components here, and it's a little bit of a bottleneck, is the liquid crystal spatial light modulator. So we are always looking for cheaper and better spatial light modulators, because this is the central core of our instrument. And also we are not professionals in a way, right? We are more like a university startup. So I think we can also benefit in a better integration of the instrument. We are in the third generation. We are building a new generation of the system that is a little bit smaller, also a portable version. So basically our request for collaboration should be a spatial light modulator, always that can be really cheap, like in a consumer base, and integration of the different instruments. And we provide our expertise with really testing all these instruments in the ophthalmic arena with a lot of clinical trials that we are actually running. So
Pablo, you have gotten quite a lot of interest from Europe because you were awarded by the SME instrument phase 2. I know that the project is about to finish, so I'm very curious, what is the next step? And you're going to tell me first is to join EPIC, I know that, but then afterwards, what else are you going to do with Optica?
Well, our main goal is survival. You know, we need to survive. For startups, I think this is, and you are right, we were very fortunate. We got this SMA second step funding, so that was very helpful. We had been trying to promote our instrument, and it's a still expensive instrument, so it's difficult to really penetrate in the market. It's very innovative. So now we are basically developing our own intraocular lenses, and we are merging. So our next steps is trying to validate our clinical trials, our intraocular lenses together with the instrument, and we are actively looking for investment and partnership. So as I mentioned, I completely believe that this adaptive optics approach is the future of ophthalmology. So it's make no sense to me that if you go to a surgical procedure that is irreversible, you have no idea in advance like a patient. Like a patient, we want to experience what is going to happen in advance, right? So I'm convinced that this is going to be very important in the future of what I call customized ophthalmology. So the future is there, but you know how difficult it is really to move these innovative products to the real commercial success.
The future is very bright for you. The future is very bright for adaptive optics in general. Axel, you see, you come up with challenges, I deliver. Thank you very much. I'm going to go to another company now with adaptive optics. I'm going to go to Paris. I'm going to go to Samuel from Imaging Optic, because Samuel, I think you had a question for Amplitude. Is that correct?
Yes, well, my question was about adaptive optics in retinal surgery. We used to have some contacts in the past with Amplitude about this question, but I don't know if now Amplitude gets a better idea of the interest of adaptive optics for this kind of process for retinal surgery in order to optimize the treated zone on the retina.
Yes, definitely. Mm-hmm. Definitely, my personal belief is that adaptive optic is still the best technique to enter the pulse laser beam into the eye. But there's many additional challenges to do retinal surgery with the femtosecond laser that we have to go through first. There's many questions, and we are at the stage where adaptive optic is, I mean, it's part of the question, but there's many of the questions to be answered at this stage. But the answer is definitely yes.
I think Axel wants to comment on this.
Yeah, I think in the context of retinal surgery, in particular with femtosecond lasers, there will be a need of working with minimum laser energy. So the focus has to be optimum at the retina or close to the retina. And therefore, I guess it will be needed to have adaptive optic in the system to optimize the focus. So you need to have the full feedback loop established. And what is important, it has to be pretty fast to react on changes during scanning. So I think this will be a challenge for adaptive optics in a surgical system environment.
Well, Francesca, what a way of starting the meeting, right? That was a quality Q&A. Let's continue. So we were in this Q&A, we went to Madrid, and then we went to Murcia, then we went to Paris, then we're going to Liège. We're going to Belgium, we're going to Liège, and going to one of my favorite companies in the EPIC system. We are going to go to Lambda-X. We're going to go to Laurent Malfaire, who's going to talk to us about the business of Ophthalmics for a company that is very good at developing microscopes. Thank you very much for being with us. The floor and the attention of everyone goes to you, Laurent. Let me unmute you, or try to unmute yourself so we can hear you. Please unmute. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. We can see you. Everything is good. Yes.
Okay. You can hear me fine?
Yeah, clear.
All right. Nice to meet you all. Just a little precision. We're not in Liège. We're in Nivelles, which is much closer to Brussels, but that's a detail. I think the agenda is very well shaped, because I will not only speak about lasers, but really about wavefront. And I know Pablo and Susanna. Well, it fits really well the intervention of Pablo and Susanna. So let me first introduce the company and explain what we do. So we have different branches, and ophthalmology is a very big one. It accounts for about 50% of our activities. But in general, we develop a lot of optical applications. So we work on project base for many type of industry, and primarily for space. So the DNA of the company is really space optics. Back in 1996, when we were founded as a spin-off of the University of Brussels. So we can go all the way from the conception and the design of any custom optical solution, all the way to the manufacturing. Whether it's a prototype, it's a very innovative and totally new application, or the contract manufacturing of existing systems, we cover the entire spectrum. So we work, as I said, we work for space with about 30 to 35 instrument launch to space in 25 years. We work in general industry as well. So we are really not focusing on one specific industry. It can be anything, basically. We have a strong presence in biomedical applications. We work in security, in general industry, like our heart, heavy industry, like industrial compressors, for example, which is very far from ophthalmology, but we cover a very broad spectrum of application. What you can expect from us is a very skilled staff in different fields, which range from optical design, optomechanics, optoelectronics, software development, advanced algorithmics, prototyping, project management, of course. So development of all the drawings and the concept, assemble the prototype, validate it, go through CE marking if necessary, all the validation you can imagine, testing, of course, and manufacturing of the serial product if necessary. But we can work at different levels. Just work on the concepts. Just take over an existing concept and manufacture it, or do something hybrid. So we already covered the spectrum. Some examples of contract manufacturing we achieve. So there you have three examples. Just talking about a facility, we have 1,000 square meters of clean rooms. So everything is really a different level of cleanliness. So we have high precision tooling and metrology, design services, and we can provide certification, as I said previously. So one example is in cell therapy, to stay in medical applications. So we are manufacturing, as an OEM, manufacture a digital holographic microscope for inline control of cells expansion. But that's very specific, cell counting and denumbering, that English. We are also working in co-engineering on the next generation of that instrument. So first, we just started as a pure OEM manufacturer of an existing design, and then we work with our partner on the conception and the manufacturing of the second generation. Another example is the mid-infrared spectroscopic sensor. That's inline monitoring of fluid, the composition of fluid. It's oil, basically, and that's for, I would say, heavy industry. And there as well, we developed this instrument from the engineering and the concept all the way to the manufacturing. And finally, again, cell therapy, this is engineering and manufacturing as well. So cell transfection and imaging platform, and it actually works in conjunction with the inline cell counter that you see on the top. So that can be totally integrated into a cell transfection system and analysis. So that was to illustrate what we do in general. So we really want to position ourselves as a partner in the design, the conception, and or the manufacturing of any instrumentation. If you have any needs for the manufacturing to support like a startup and so on, we have a huge facility, we have a brilliant staff, and we can definitely help you. Then we come to our flagship, which is ophthalmic metrology. You see there the Nemo. Some of you may know it. So I know definitely Pablo and Susanna know it. It's a wavefront sensor, which is used worldwide for the control of contact lenses, spectacle lenses, and intraocular lenses. I will come back to that in a second. And just last word, we are certified EN 9100, which is basically the extension of the ISO 9001 to any space and defense development. So we have a very strong certification, which has just been renewed. So there's no problem there. We are perfectly certified for all, we are covered for all needs. Just one little breaking news that you may have heard of, and we're very proud of it. Like 2 weeks ago, you may have heard that tracks of oxygen has been found on Mars, in the atmosphere of Mars. And we are really proud to actually be the manufacturer of that instrument. So the NOMAD and the ExoMars mission, so the NOMAD instrument was launched about 2.5 years ago. You may have heard of fuzz at the time because there were three instruments on board that mission, and one crashed on the surface of Mars. Some of you may remember that. So there's been a lot of buzz about that one crashing, but another two instruments were perfectly fit and started to work in orbit around the planet Mars, studying the atmosphere. And one of them is this UVIS module that looks at the atmosphere in UV and visible. And this exact instrument that we manufacture just discovered tracks of oxygen in the atmosphere. And this is something we're really proud of.
You should be.
We are. Okay, sorry, that's what do we do in ophthalmic metrology? So as I explained, we have different instruments. So most of them, so everything you see to the left for contact lenses and refractive intraocular lenses are wavefront sensors. So we have, it's basically the same technology. It's a proprietary technology called phase shifting Schlierung. It's a deflectometry, wavefront sensing and deflectometry. And we can basically measure any type of contact lens or refractive IOL, whether it's toric, non-toric, aspheric, very complex multifocal, as you see there on the right. We are covered for all of them. We have the standstill instrument, so the tabletop instrument if you want. So the Nemo for contact lens on the left. Second on the left, to the left is the IOL version. And we have an OEM system which can be integrated into any automation system. And then a fully automated system, which is the big box in the center, which can measure and control about 100 IOLs, intraocular lenses, in less than 15 minutes. So that's for mass production. We also have instrumentations for diffractive and diffractive optics. They can measure refractive lenses as well, but they're really focused on the control of diffractive lenses. It's the PMTF. It's a true focus microscope that makes a true focus scan of the optical axis and then can spot the different foci, measures MTF and everything. And I can't really tell anything about it yet, but we have a very, very how to say that? A very innovative instrument coming soon, and we really believe, we strongly believe it will make some noise on the ophthalmic metrology, because this is really innovative. I can't tell you more about it. But
Laurent, you got us really super excited right now. So
we are too. We are as well. We have a working prototype. It works perfectly well, but it's not a product yet. It's not on the market yet, but it works fantastically well. More to come.
Laurent, excellent. Let's find you some partners. Back to Francesca. Francesca.
Yeah, so I guess you mentioned already, okay, you won't tell us more about this prototype, we know already, because, and probably you have already everything, but in case you have a wish for this new prototype coming out, so this new product, you can of course tell us without saying for it what is for. But otherwise we can stick to the epic questions, right? I mean, you said you would offer, so you could help, for example, Pablo, in integration, or at least that was what I captured from your sentence. But maybe you want to tell us a bit more, what can you do for them and what they can do for you?
Well, what we can do for them, for example, if they are looking for a contract manufacturing partner, which is well established and has all the competency in ophthalmology, definitely we are the one. We measure lenses oh, I'm muted? No. As I explained, we measure the wavefront of lenses, contact lenses or IOL, so we can very easily imagine measuring a lens, generating the wavefront, and then directly feed one of the systems, so Pablo's or Susanna's system, with the actual wavefront measure on the lens, whatever the type of lens. These are two very straightforward potential partnerships.
Definitely. And also, well, the support anyway you mentioned, and then what can they do for, so what they can do for you, you didn't tell yet, but one thing, one thing on your wish list.
Yeah, I think having an integrated system would be very, very beneficial for both. So we can benefit from from their expertise and their instrumentation, measuring the eye and simulating the optics in the eye. They can benefit from us measuring the actual lenses. So that could be a very strong partnership, I think.
That's true. I mean, I would never dare to say that their cooperation is only, is of course a mutual action, so you're right. Is there other question otherwise for Laurent? Because I might feel like we want to introduce femtoperi. No, LED conversion. There you go, please.
Hello, everybody. So I have a question: how fast those measurements of wavefronts can be implemented? I mean, are we speaking about seconds, minutes, or on what time scale?
You mean the measurement time for a lens? Oh, for contact lenses today, with the very latest version, we are talking 1 second about it. So you click and basically you have the wavefront and everything. For IOLs today, we are more around 5 to 6 seconds, but that's because the hardware is an older generation. Then the contact lens unit has been renewed last year with the top-notch hardware, so we could speed up the process, the measurement time quite a bit. But we are in definitely, whatever the complexity of the lens, it can be a very complex multifocal lens with many true focus scans. We're below 10 seconds.
And this goes, let's say, through the lens, right? So you need something above and
It's a measurement, yes, it's a measurement transmission, so you need to see through the lens. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And the software that can be integrated, we have a very powerful API. So the software is a database basically, and an API that can be used to integrate to any system. So that way it's very easy to measure and directly feed another system with the result. That can be instant.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So do we have other questions for Laurent? So if it's not the case, I was about to say maybe Susanna from Femtoprint would like to introduce herself. So I know you make 3D printing of lenses and glass. So why is it that you're here today? You can maybe explain a bit. What can you do for them? What they can do for you? You have probably already understood the spirit.
Yes, good morning. We produce different 3D micro devices printed in glass. We can produce these prototypes and also industrial products with very high resolution. We are here today because we developed a new surgical tool for ophthalmologists, mainly for the surgeon. The device is called Spot, and is a safe puncture optimized tool for the retinal vein cannulation. This pathology, the retinal vein occlusion, affects about 16 million people worldwide, and today has no therapy. So the surgeon need to use only drugs that treat the edema, and patients that are not responders to these very expensive drugs are at risk for lost vision. So we developed this surgical tool that can safely inject drug dissolving inside the retinal vein, the posterior one, avoiding over-puncturing, and so in this way we can treat the root of cause and dissolve the thrombus inside this very small vein. It's a new device that we have developed with the EPFL in Lausanne, the Jean Gonin Hospital in Lausanne. And it's a tool that we are developing inside in our office in Muzzano, and would like to start very soon with the study, first in the human, first in clinical, in non-clinical studies, so in animals, and then in human.
Very interesting, very interesting. So do you think that someone in this room could help you towards maybe a more specialization of the device, or to get closer to the market with some special optics, for example, or some part, or is a...
We are looking for a company that need this tool in their portfolio because it's an innovative one. So today there is no other surgical tool to treat this pathology, neither drugs. So we are looking for a company that would like to have a tool for the surgery, for the surgeons to treat this pathology, and that can support us in optimizing the development, and also to start firstly the certification of the device, and also the clinical studies.
Very clear. I guess there is a very good list that you already proposed. Maybe is there someone in the room that wants to answer her? Maybe Sean is interested from Optos. Who knows?
Sorry, I was late. I only just caught the end of that. My apologies.
No problem. Maybe then you can catch up maybe in private if you didn't follow now the discussion of. But is there any way a possible connection maybe to do also offline? There's no problem.
Thank you.
Very good.
But now that Sean has the microphone, I really would like to know what Optos does. It's your first ever EPIC meeting, Sean. What is Optos? And most important, we have the whole supply chain for you here. What can we do for you? And maybe some challenges that we can solve. What can you do for us?
Hi, Jose. We do ultra-wide field retinal imaging as part of our device. So we supply to ophthalmologists and to hospitals And this is my kind of first interaction with the EPIC on this topic. But just as an overview, that's what we do. We do autofluorescence and a number of imaging modalities within the retinal diagnostics. So that's really what we kind of do. We kind of specialize in ultra wide field. So rather than the fundus camera style, looking at small fields of view, we do a 200-degree field of view within imaging over a quarter of a second. So that kind of give you a bit of an overview of what we do.
It is a very interesting company. It's your first interaction with EPIC. Is there any challenge, any unmet need? I call it the Santa Claus Christmas list, something that you cannot find in the market, and that maybe here we can craft it for you.
Not at the moment. I didn't.
Oh, come on, something. There has to be something. Field of view, lasers, anything. Come on.
I wasn't too sure what to expect from the forum, so I was really just looking on a receive mode rather than a transmit mode. But I'm quite happy to kind of listen into you know, some of the discussion points and see if anything fits in.
Okay,
Sure,
very good. Sorry, Jose. So that means that Sean is now, we know, we have experience with such participants. More listening, but then when they want, they can interact and speak for sure. So thank you also for this contribution is also a good one. Later on, maybe you want to disclose something more. So I guess now, if there are no other comments, we can maybe proceed with our agenda. It's time for Petteri and Modulight. So Petteri, if you're there and ready, you can start to roll.
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Can you also see my presentation?
Oh, yes, very well.
Excellent. Okay, thanks for having this opportunity again to be with the EPIC team. And just one comment that I'm happy to see that you are showing example for all of us with having majority of your staff female, like not most of the optical companies we have. So yeah, let's hope we can get all of us better there too. So that's nice. Hey, great to be in one of these workshops again. And I will briefly talk about Modulight today and what we do in ophthalmic domain, and maybe some ideas about what we could also do in the future. If I get my slide changed. Coming up now, right?
Yes, all good.
Yes. So what we do in ophthalmics, we basically manufacture medical laser systems for multiple biomedical applications. We consider ourselves, if not the only, but really one of the few companies who are really fully vertically integrated. So we manufacture semiconductor laser diodes in our fab in Tampere, Finland, and we design and integrate medical laser products and deliver them to hospitals globally. We've been around for 20 years now as a private company, and today we work with 10 plus pharmaceuticals to deliver them hardware solutions for their basically drug products that are light activated typically. We have also experience on delivering different type of laser solutions from 400 to 2000 nanometers, and we have certifications obviously for medical device design and manufacturing, ISO 13485, and well, the usual ISO stuff for general industrial manufacturing. And in ophthalmic domain, let's say one of the known reference we have is the exclusive agreement we made with Bausch + Lomb on delivering them the PDT laser platform for their Visudyne drug in US market, which is now being approved by FDA. And overall, at Modulight, we on life science side, we kind of generically offer medical laser system solutions, and most of our applications or let's say customer cases have been in oncology and ophthalmology area, but we are also developing products for optogenetics and various kind of quality control for medical domain. We also do other, let's say, what we call custom and industrial solutions, which range from space, where we also have tens of lasers, even orbiting now today in some satellites, to automotive and other applications. We also have a service offering which mainly is built on the medical devices, where we offer regulatory and engineering support and overall life cycle support for the products we manufacture. So today I'll talk mainly about AMD, CNV, and other retinal diseases, and kind of more on the therapeutic window of ophthalmics, which we've been focusing on, and a couple of slides about the medical laser platforms we have for this domain. So AMD, probably known, well, many of the attendants, obviously one of the leading cause of blindness still in the world, and kind of there are obviously two tracks here. The dry one, that is still very serious one, where there's really no cure currently available, but that's something that people are studying and have been studying a lot. But for so-called wet AMD, there are treatments available, and that's kind of representing, let's say, half of the AMD cases overall. And well, we are talking about a total of 11 million annually in US a couple of years back, and basically doubling by 2050, and same trend globally also. And all this comes from, of course, from aging population, because this indication and disease activates typically late stage, like after 65 and so on. And well, one of the successful treatments for AMD and also CNV has been PDT, photodynamic therapy, that was already commercialized late 90s. Since then, there's been a new treatment modality based on injections, anti-VEGF monotherapy basically, and but there's still certain segments that are kind of very interesting for PDT, which is laser-based, basically drug activation directly in a retina. And here we kind of saw what indications are already approved, and some of them are not on a label yet, but anyway, being applied on a patient basis. And so there's still quite a strong interest in developing this modality for this kind of neovascularization indications in retina. And that's why also, for example, Bausch has wanted to kind of build up a next generation platform for supporting their business in North America. On top of that, basically the same type of therapy, meaning drug activation by laser can be applied also in a ocular oncology field. Here we have a couple of indications where these PDT and laser therapy has been used for that field. And Karl Seitz is one of the leading clinicians for ocular oncology applications, and we've been collaborating with her and many other leading clinicians in US on this. How PDT works, basically you typically inject drug by IV, and then wherever you want to activate the drug and cause this kind of therapeutic effect, you deliver the light there. And in the eye, it's of course a natural way of doing it with the slit lamp or some other direct way of delivering. But we use also the same process, of course, in oncological applications in other parts of the body. But what is of course good is that drug remains typically unactivated until you shine the light, and it's not causing kind of problems and side effects in the other parts of the body until activated. We have basically currently 2 different platforms for ophthalmic applications, which are mainly focused in AMD and oncology applications, and as I mentioned, to a therapeutic window. And we have single and multi-wavelength solutions here, so you can also consider combination treatments with different modalities. We've also designed this kind of slit lamp adapter, which is basically optics delivering the treatment from the laser to the eye, for example, with the eye microscope. And we can today offer complete treatment station solutions for that type of approach. We also help with our customers with all the regulatory approvals as needed. So we have done CE mark for multiple devices, also FDA approvals already done, and some ongoing. So there's quite a bit know-how on that part too. This is one of our latest platforms, which is iPad controlled cloud connected ophthalmic laser system. And again, this is something that initially is designed for AMD type of application, but it's also being used for other indications. And what is nice here also that we typically design these products as platforms, so you can also consider different wavelengths and just utilizing the overall platform device for different type of applications. Uveal melanoma is something that is, for example, a possible additional indication this type of device can be used for. So there are possibilities there. This kind of thermal TTT therapy has been approved and tested already earlier, but here also PDT, which is a drug activation, has been studied and is still being studied. Also next generation drugs, which can be more selective and targeting, are being developed, and we are working with some of those with our partners too. So what we can do for you and vice versa. So what Modulight can do today and has been doing now a couple of years already, we can basically deliver full treatment solutions in medical laser domain, starting really from idea to a final product if needed. We also have done this kind of, let's say, redesign of or life cycle support of existing products as needed. And we also can do tailoring of our platforms and solutions for specific applications as needed. And one of the most important thing what we typically offer to our customers is to offer them long-term product support from own fab, basically securing the supply for as long as they really want to do the business with us. And yeah, we typically are considered as a partner with our clients. So it's usually a very long-term relationships what we have with our customers. And what you all can do for us, we are always interested in combining new technologies, for example, different imaging modalities or other, let's say, more like diagnostic type functionalities in our products. We've already designed into our oncology laser platform this kind of treatment monitoring capability based on kind of a spectroscopic application and fluorescence and things like that. We also have designed laser heads with not only laser delivery but also OCT and other imaging capabilities, scanners and things like that. So there are many things that are maybe not fully visible from our standard product offering, but we certainly are looking at.
Petteri, I guess you gave really a great overview of what you can offer, and then I guess for the single details we can maybe discuss in the room. For example, for the talks that you heard before from these young companies, do you have maybe some direct comment to them? Because as you say as well, you are one of those who can support also from customer till so from the request till the product, and so you are probably very good consultant for integration in the new device. So if you have some comments or some suggestions for these new companies, it would be great probably.
Yes, of course. I mean, we certainly would be happy to just have a even discussion and share something about our experiences on what it takes to bring products to end market and so on. And yes, we certainly see opportunities with this kind of partnerships with even younger companies if they are kind of looking for partners who could help to bring their technology to the market and part of products. So yes, open to proposals.
So now these new companies have the good address to go, let's say. So do we have questions for Petteri also from the audience in general? Because if it's not the case, I guess we were mentioning already OTC, and so maybe it's the time for Maria Chiara from CareGlance to a bit introduce what you are doing and in this direction, right?
Yes, thank you, Francesca. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself to you. I founded this company, CareGlance, more than 1 year ago in March 2019. And the mission of the company is, first of all, to produce a swept source solution, portable, low cost, and high speed in order to target real-time OCT measuring. I can share the screen and show which is our target product. Now, of course, this is not commercial, but we have already developed our know-how as most shareholders worked in Pirelli for decades, developing optical devices above all for telecom systems. But now I want to apply my know-how in healthcare field because I find, let's say, a niche market with respect to telecom, but very interesting to enter in. So if I can share.
Yes,
okay.
Now something is coming, yes.
So basically, we know that the source is one of the key components, if not the most important component of an OCT system. And we want to propose an innovative laser technology, which is faster with respect to what is nowadays available on the market. So able to perform a scan until 1 megahertz speed, a very small device. If you can see, this is the teleconversion compared to the size of coin. It's cheap as there are few components. It has a very low bill of material and a high manufacturing yield for the basic components because we are achieved on a 6-inch wafer surface. And it's a reliable solution because it's not based as the most common commercially on MEMS. So it has no moving part inside the cavity. Our scope is to put this product as earlier as possible on the market due to the know-how that we developed in last years, also collaborating in a bigger, let's say, production project with Brazil. And then we arrived until the qualification pre-production. And so we imagine to have, let's say, test prototypes for the beginning of 2022 and to enter officially in the market in 2023.
But is there someone here in the room that could really help you in this? So did you already find who are the people that could accelerate this process that to bring this product to market?
By the way, in this moment, in this last month, we had a great stop due to COVID crisis. We had to be financed in February, but everything stopped. So I'm now looking just for a seed investment or collaboration with interested companies. For example, in developing a joint product in the world of OCT line systems. In order to get to a prototypation, then to have access to some, let's say, VC growth capital for investment, also to proceed not only with the vision of a single product, so flavor, but also to proceed to a fully integrated version of an OCT module, mounting with an hybrid heterogeneous technique and external field. The goal is to go towards OCT module that can be transversally applied to several fields ranging from industry, healthcare to...
Ciao Maria, we know each other already for a long time. We've been trying to make a full supply chain. Things are looking now in the perfect direction. So congratulations. Do you know my friend Andrew Robertson?
Andrew Robertson, yes. I know.
Andrew, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Andrew, here we have a company, Kirklands, and we have a fantastic package, nicely laser for OCT.
Do you remember me, Andrew?
Yes. I mean, A-Photonics are a company that does photonic packaging, and I very much recognize the type of package you're looking for. And we've talked in the past, over the past few years.
Yeah. But you were in Buchenwald in past year.
I was until recently, but now I'm with A-Photonics, and they're very interested in the type of packaging solution.
Yeah, I already talked in last year with John Parham by A-Photonics.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So no, good to see you on this meeting, and let's make contact again.
I think you need to reconnect because now it is the time for Maria Chiara to have a clear roadmap towards volume production. And A-Photonics, Maria, A-Photonics is one of the key companies that we have in EPIC, helping companies scale to volume production. Success stories like Effect Photonics are really born by nice ideas from these A-Photonics people, design for manufacturing of packaging, a great company for you.
I presented them into my business plan because they were my first choice partner in order to do, let's say, prototype production and volume production.
A great first choice, Maria. And now I want to go back to Petteri. Petteri, we have here a great example of a company that has manufactured fantastic MPE growth on material and then go all the way to serve the clinicians. Do you have some words of wisdom, some learnings for the companies here who really are struggling to outreach the clinical products and they have to go to tier 1, so the medical industry?
Yeah, well, it's it's a good question, and well, what we have learned ourselves is that you really have to invest quite long time into understanding the application, and of course then all the kind of regulatory requirements and this world, and we've done that investment ourselves, and yes, maybe in some cases that could help also other companies to kind of use that maybe for or any other company who has been actively doing this type of thing, that finding such partners that could help them to get faster there. We started designing first medical lasers 10 years ago, so it's been a long journey, but well, of course it's on a long term paying off, but it's also of course a significant investment of resources and effort to really get there.
One of the companies they have in EPIC, great companies, based in Cork, is Superlum. They make superluminescent diodes. And when it comes to lasers for OCT, it has always been one of the partners of choice. Vlad, thank you very much for joining today all the way from beautiful Cork. Let me unmute you so we can hear you.
So, hello, hi everybody.
I'm very curious of how Superlum is going, and mostly what can we do for you and what can you do for us?
Well, first, Jose, thank you very much for introducing Superlum. And to be honest, I did not consider making a presentation. I wanted basically to hear about new trends in ophthalmology, because I think we are very, 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 very well known on the ophthalmic market as a supplier of SLDs we started, I mean, our SLDs were in the first commercial time domain systems, in first commercial spectral domain systems. So this is now a product which is in demand, and I hope that it is also known that ultra high resolution OCT in ophthalmology was demonstrated first by femtosecond lasers, but later by Superlum SLDs, so by combined sources, which used 2 or 3 SLDs, which are now also in demand. But actually, again, I'm very sorry, I'm not very well prepared, but
no, but you're perfect.
To me, but to me, it was very important to understand new trends in ophthalmology, where we can apply our knowledge as designers and manufacturers of SLDs and SOAs. We maybe we are of some interest to care glands, because if you need more power, for example, we can offer some broadband amplifiers at different bands, and well, otherwise, so I'm here. Maybe you can ask me some questions,
this
but
is perfect,
actually I don't like. Oh, I'm sorry.
I wanted to collect every part of the supply chain. So we have the superluminescent diodes, the laser diodes, then we have the chip for OCT, because I want all of you to pay attention, because we are about to go to a presentation I'm particularly excited of. When it comes to brilliant optical scanning, Intelon Optics is one company that has been making a big impact in the industry. It's the first ever EPIC meeting. So welcome Dimitri, for being with us this beautiful afternoon here in the Netherlands. It is 4:27. You have 6 minutes of valuable time for helping us, helping you. The floor and the attention of everyone goes to you, goes to Dimitri.
Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Francesca, for having me. And it's good afternoon to you and good morning from across the Atlantic Ocean. We're based in Boston, Massachusetts. So let me give you a little bit of information about our company, Intelon Optics, and what we actually do. Let me start sharing. Hope you can see the screen. Okay, so Intelon Optics is a startup company based in Boston, and we're developing our product, which is called BOSS, or Brilliant Optical Scanning System. Our mission is to really reliably measure biomechanics of living tissues, which enables physicians to make much better decisions around treatment options. We talked a little bit about refractive surgery and cataract surgery, and the optical measurements are very, very precise nowadays using adaptive optics or wavefront, but sometimes biology can play tricks on you. And what we want is to solve that problem for our users by allowing them to measure reliably biomechanical characteristics of tissues, particularly in the eye. So we have a pretty experienced management team, and this technology came from Harvard Center for Photomedicine, where Dr. Yoon has actually taken what was scientifically known for about 100 years when Leon Brouillon understood the science of Brouillon scattering and actually made it into something that we can technologically implement. So what is biomechanics? I mean, if you think about elasticity and viscosity, sometimes you cannot observe those tissues. When you want to know how soft or hard an object is, what do you usually do? Usually you squeeze it, or you poke it with your finger, or you touch it. You use your sense of touch to understand elastic properties. But what Brouillon technology enables you to do is replace the sense of touch by purely light-based technique. Here's an example of mouse embryo imaged by OCT, which is one of the leading technologies in ophthalmic field today. And next to it is the Brouillon imaging of the same section of the embryo, where you can see that the OCT really tells you morphology or shape of tissues, but it doesn't really tell you what it's made out of. Whereas Brouillon spectroscopy allows you to essentially assess the longitudinal elastic modulus of localized volumes of tissue using just light. This is the ophthalmic instrument that we developed today, and it allows you to assess elastic properties of tissue in the anterior chamber of the eye. So our first production version of the instrument can measure the cornea and the crystalline lens. And it meets a lot of very important needs in the medicine. I already mentioned refractive surgery, but also early diagnosis, progressive myopia, where sometimes the scleral elastic properties may influence the growth of the eye. There's a lot of applications on the retinal side as well, and screening of patients for keratoconus. So large prevalence of those diseases even in the anterior side. So there's clearly a lot of physicians who can benefit from this new dimension of diagnostic that we're bringing to the market. Here's some examples of the data that is provided by our instrument on the crystalline lens. These are single scans through the center of the lens where you can see that the properties of the lens change with age. And this is very important, for example, for companies who are developing pharmaceutical solutions to presbyopia, a way to soften the lens. We can provide them in vivo technique to actually see the effect of their drugs on the subjects. The picture on the right shows how a keratoconic patient's imaged on above with the pentacam and below with BOSS instrument, where we can see that keratoconus appears to be a very focal disease. And that can also influence a lot of the cross-linking treatment techniques that are being developed to treat this debilitating visual disease. So why EPIC? Here's the big question that Jose likes. Well, a couple of things. Obviously, we're trying to raise some funds, so we're looking for investment partnership. But we're also kind of operating on the edge of possible, what is technologically possible today. So we use very expensive scientific camera. We use ultra-stable tunable laser. So as we try to scale up our production to make this product available to ophthalmologists around the world, we need to try to cut the cost of goods from the system. And if we have somebody who can potentially provide us a way to capture photons, maybe with scientific CMOS camera instead of EMCCD, which we're using today, that would be a great help to us. Or find a cheaper, ultra-stable, tunable laser at 780 that we can use with our system. Again, I'll be very happy to start those conversations with them. So again, thank you very much for inviting me, and I hope this was informative.
Thank you, Dimitri. That was perfect. It's your first ever EPIC meeting, and you already know the philosophy. I'm going to make you one promise. As soon as I can fly again, I really cannot anymore. I'm going to Boston. I'm going to come to visit you. I also have a lot of friends at MIT. So if they are watching, by the way, hello. Two things. First one, the laser. What wavelength range? You said 780 nanometer, the center wavelength. What wavelength range are you looking for?
Okay, so we're using ultra-stable 780 wavelength. So ideally something that's locked to rubidium atom frequency. Now we use basically laser locking with an etalon, Fabry-Perot etalon, which locks it to a particular frequency, which is again also expensive piece of optics. We're trying to find something that's cheaper, stable, and provides us with that stability, because we're looking for tiny deviations of wavelength from the 780, from the carrier frequency, which constitutes the Brillouin spectroscopy region.
We have really great EPIC members like, well, I think Maria Chiara wants to help you. Maria.
Yes, I would like to know which are the specific feature of a tunable component that you are looking for.
Okay, well, right now I can tell you we tried the Qioptiq laser. So they have a 780 laser that's used for our purposes in the lab. So it's part of our bench setup, but it's quite expensive. So we're trying to find an alternative that can potentially be useful in our applications, but at the same time not have the cost of goods so expensive that we'll have to sell this machine for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Okay. Which are the specifications you need in terms of output power, stability, and so on? Perhaps we can go on in the discussion later. This is not the frame, but
yeah, we can take it offline. We have very well detailed documentation for specifically what you're asking for. So specifications for the source.
We have two questions more for you. One from Vladimir and one from Petteri. Vladimir. Please unmute yourself. Have you muted now?
Hello?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Actually, my question was about the specification for the laser in technical terms. I mean, like power, whatever else. And if it's possible to get it by email, then it would be great.
Okay, certainly. Yeah, we have about 1 page of specifications, so it wouldn't be practical to list them all today.
Yeah. Okay, very good. I'll send a message asking your email address. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Petteri.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard my presentation, but Modulight has in-house fab for laser diodes, including 780s, and we've done some previous work, for example, for atomic clocks at this specific wavelength. So yeah, it's worth discussing what we can do and how we can help you there.
Okay, that sounds good.
Petteri, Dimitri is raising quite a lot of interest in the industry. It's a really nice partnership. I think the two of you, Dimitri and Petteri, should really talk, because I think there is very clear partnership strategy here.
Yeah, I already have many customers in Boston and happy to visit as soon as it's possible.
I'll go with you, Petteri. Dimitri, we talk about the laser. Let's talk about the optics. Do you have some challenges on the optics side?
Well, one of the elements that we use in the optical train in the spectrometer is Fabry-Perot etalon and special modification of it called virtually imaged phased array. If you've heard of such terms, some people who provide optical components. So these are kind of very rare pieces of optics because they require very precise coding specifications on each side. So we're obviously trying to diversify the vendors that we use, and would be open to looking into potential other sources for that type of component.
So be prepared to answer a lot of emails. I'm calling all the EPIC members now. Anybody who has the high-end coatings that this guy is looking for, Dimitri is raising a lot of interest in this industry, and we want to help you. Dimitri, it was great having you. The first of many, Dimitri, promise me. You are doing great. We want to have you more often at EPIC. Thank you very much for being with us all the way from Boston. Thank you for sharing your challenges. We really want to help you. And we continue. This was fantastic, Francesca. We continue with the program, and we go to one of the key companies that I've been trying to help and push like crazy, because they are really in business. Because I love mold-lock lasers, and I love A-Photonics. Thank you so much, RBK, for being with us this beautiful afternoon. Tell us what you do, and most important, tell us how we can help you get even better than you already are. The floor and the attention of everyone goes to the mod-lock lasers of A-Photonics. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Jose. Try to share my screen.
Excellent. The floor is yours.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you again. My name is Radhakrishnan, shortly RK. I am from A-Photonics, Finland. We are going to introduce our nanomodulator-enabled ultra-fast lasers. Who are we? This is a joint project of Aalto University and Business Finland. Main focus is to find out the commercial feasibility and continue the research activities of the ultra-fast lasers, especially in the unexplored spectral region of 2 micrometer. What are we doing here? The key enabling technology is electro-optic modulator. It's actively mode-lock laser. That is the distinction from the rest of the lasers what we make. And we primarily focus on the longer wavelength, which is 1950 or something like that. What's our goal? Our goal is to just work with the industry needs, solving the industry problem, and also try to establish the new applications. The project started in January 2019, and we are going to complete it by September 2020. After that, potentially it has to be a spin-out company. As I mentioned, the brief overview of the technology, it is on an electro-optic modulator on a silicon wafer. Basically, it can be done on any substrate. So when I say silicon wafer, so it also makes the cost is lower. It enables actively mode locked one. That is the and takes to control all the spectral region here. We are talking about a picosecond to femtosecond laser. The repetition rates varies from 100 hertz to gigahertz. It's ultra broadband operation. What do you mean by here? One single modulator, it's enough. For example, 1.5 micrometer to 2 micrometer, or 2.2 to 3 micrometer. One single modulator, there's about 680 nanometer. It's a broad bandwidth. And the laser is enabled by this electro-optic modulator, and the 2 micrometer region is going to be in the picosecond region. Somewhere close from, we have so far achieved 100 megahertz, and it's electrically controllable. This is a key activity here. This is which in turn means the electrical pulse synchronized with the optical pulse. So exactly the person knows when the pulse will be out. There are various applications. We listed out some of them for non-destructive testing, imaging, and surgery. There is a wide scope of applications. And for ophthalmology, we focused on imaging sector. Why the imaging domain? For example, the dry eye syndrome, especially the anterior segment, all focuses. The dry eye syndrome, it's not many people, not everyone, at least many people experience with that. The current technology is, the diagnosing method is that invasive method, for example, excimer test or rose Bengal, something like that. In addition to being invasive, this method also having a limited repeatability. Some commercial systems do exist to evaluate the tear film, but they are mostly expensive or give a limited quality or uncomfortable to the patient. So therefore, the imaging modality enabling high quality, non-invasive evaluation of cornea and other tear film is required. Blinking should also be taken into consideration when imaging a tear film. A good quality imaging of anterior segment can be enabled using a longer wavelength, especially swept source, which can enable rapid tear film analysis while blinking. This is a key here. For the anterior chamber eye surface, for example, the OCT imaging, mostly it has been done in the way like the transcleral manner. So hence, anterior OCT should have a high penetration. So the main interest of anterior OCT imaging is gross morphology in the high chamber. Subsource OCT provides full 3D morphology of the anterior height. The whole circumference visualization of anterior angle called virtual gonoscopy in a single scan. What does it mean? Quantitative assessment of anterior angle of OCT, and we can also determine a risk of glaucoma attack. This is our goal. as back to the famous question of what we can do for you, what we can do for it, we can offer the electro-optic modulator in a various form and factor. So the same modulator could be used for example, the fiber laser, semiconductor laser, or solid state. So with that, we could enable 2 micrometer active mode lock laser. With the 2 micrometer lasers as a source, we can go for a subsource OCT. What EPIC members can do for us. We understand when go to the unexplored spectral region, there is a lack of availability of detectors, although we have been speaking to some collaborators in Poland where the talks are on, but still we see quite a lot of challenges in detectors. We're also looking for a system integrators because we being a laser source supplier, so we did a lot of market survey. For example, there are 25,000 ophthalmologists in the developing countries where they need this kind of handheld devices. So we're looking for open for any kind of application-oriented stuff here. Okay, thank you. I guess I did within 6 minutes.
Yeah, very good, very good. And also with the perfect slide at the end that we will spread all around EPIC now.
Yeah.
So, but first, before going to all EPIC, we should maybe ask the audience here. So you saw already the shopping list of AK. So if you want to comment already, there is a lot of room for discussions, I would say. So we said you are one of those who also would like to be helped in system integrations. And we heard already here there are many who ask the same, but also some who can offer it. And then also other comments. I don't know if there's someone in the audience who wants to comment on the slides. So far they're all quiet, but I mean you move it very far, very quick. But I guess Jose save it again, so now I can open it on our chat. So you were also mentioning medical professionals. Okay, yeah, thanks a lot. Very good. Yeah. Exactly. So laser companies interested in joint system building, you mean so your part, which one is the contribution you would like to have so that we finalize the shopping list?
Okay. When we talk about the ophthalmology segment, especially this 2 micrometer is unexplored spectral region, which opens quite a lot of challenges. It's a less scattering, which means we can have the better resolution compared to any, because right now in the market, 830 and 1050 and 1310 is very popular. 2 micrometer, as far as we scan through for ophthalmology, does not exist. And that too with the actively mode lock laser is not available. We really do not know what more advantages we could get so far. So therefore, if there could be a medical professionals also on board, probably we could jointly explore on a wider, deeper scale. So this is our assumption.
Very good, but I guess Samuel wants to comment on this. He's quietly writing in the chat, but maybe you want to say it loud, Samuel. You should maybe, yeah.
I think I'm not fully aware about the needs of Imaginize. I think that Nicolas Chateau is not here. He was not finally able to join us. And well, we are integrating for adaptive optics fundus camera, some components, and especially some swept source, OCT swept source, for a new project that we are developing right now. And so probably there is an opportunity to discuss, to have some technical discussion.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. We will discuss that. May I ask you one quick question? What is the wavelength are we talking about here?
Sorry, can you repeat?
What is the wavelength are we talking about here?
The wavelength, it's I think it's near infrared at 900 or 820 or something like this, in that range. I'm not sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Sounds good. Sounds good. We are in the right range, right? Yeah. And also, if anyway, this shopping list of yours is for sure now printed in our heads, and we will follow up definitely after this meeting, and also with the people in the room now, but also with other EPIC members. Looking forward to support you, and also because we know that ophthalmology was really a name in your in your company now. So that's good that you were here and you could introduce your products. Good.
I would like to ask something because RBK, I'm a huge fan of what you want to do. A-Photonics is a young company, is extremely promising from in the field. Make us excited. How is A-Photonics going to look in, let's say, 5 years? So we had this meeting again, and Francesca and me are here again in 5 years. What would you tell us differently?
Where we would be after 5 years?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you very much. Right after we come as a spin-out company, we would be first go into the non-destructive test. We have got some very innovative application, especially in a very innovative way, the cultural heritage, then go to the automotive, then move into the medical. That is a path being set for our how we emerge as a market supplier. Potentially, we'll be one of the key players in especially the 2 micrometer, because where I mentioned about one application, subsource OCT, there are few more application we found during our global visit of the various industries and the professionals. Probably we may come out as a very innovative applications in the due course.
That's your preferred future? Tell me 2 challenges, 2 things that I can do with my members, 575, to help you get there.
Good question. How you can do it? There is a big challenge, as I said, in some of the electronics part when it comes to the designing part of it. That is one thing. If some good electronics matching the speed of the femtosecond, everything, that could be well good. 2, detectors. This is a 2 thing. The rest we have developed. For example, the market is there is a user is there already. There are people willing to look for this kind of instrument. In 5 years from now, I could say we could be. It's not exaggerate to say if we could sell around 2,000 system of subsource OCT in this range. That is a kind of volume we are talking about here.
Of course, you should know that the last speaker today, my friend Andreas, has some of the best detectors in the world. But until we get there, which is only in a few minutes, I go back to Doctora Moglia. The floor is yours, Doctora.
Still muted? Now I'm not anymore. So I guess if there are no other comments, we maybe go to Elad. It's time for Elad and monochrome, right? Ready to roll, Elad?
Oh, yes. I hope that you are ready to listen, because it has been a long session so far.
No, we will.
Good. So hello, everybody. And thank you all for basically allowing me to remove all the slides that I had about how the retina works. And having said that, let me just introduce you briefly for monochrome. So we have been around since 1993, 30 kilometers away from Barcelona city in a nice city called Vilanova i la Geltrú. You are all always welcome. And some of you already paid us a visit. We are basically one of the key element in our technology is the way that we mount the laser bars, which is basically based on a patent that we issued back in 2004 called clamping, which basically means that our laser mounts do not consist any soldering material, which basically allows us to get some nice advantages, like avoiding the smile effect. We can mount the bars in room temperature. We are insensitive to mismatches between the materials of the mount itself, avoiding mechanical stress. And of course, we can also, since we can cool the bar from both areas or from both directions, both from the PN junction, we can efficiently remove heat and because of that to achieve longer lifetime. So we are active in all sorts of sectors. Today we will talk about medical, mostly ophthalmology. And when we say ophthalmology, we are basically aiming to the area of the retina, in which basically our products are basically come to give treatments after diagnostics of glaucoma, DME, AMD, and basically to work on the RPE stimulation. One thing to mention, our solutions can come either as component-based or a full subsystem, including electronics, fibers, and everything that comes with that. This has been something that we have been doing for a long time, and we have a nice amount of experience. So, as you know, as you can notice, my title is the Sales and Business Development. So I am aiming to sell, not anything else. So I will talk specifically about two products that we have right now, mature enough to be able to give a solution. The first one is a solution, a treatment called SRT, the Selective Retina Therapy, in which we basically create nice small burn effect on the backside of the RPE level. And the idea is to create nice short pulses, right, in order to be able to improve and stimulate the RPE cell migration, and to be able to basically to create again a growth at that area and remove the problematic cells. I can, well, this is a really simple table that describes the specification of the laser itself. It's a neodymium yield based laser, up to 1 millijoule, short pulses of 1.7 micro with a nice repetition rate of 200 hertz. One thing that's unique about this laser, besides the fact that it's Q-switch, we develop a nice electronics to allow us to do a nice pulses, really sharp, because this is part of the research outcome for this type of solution. The second one, which is basically aiming to the same area, basically, but in a much more cost-effective way. We call it the multipath 532, which we can reach up to 12 watts CW power with a nice beam quality, relatively speaking. This is a laser that is based on a multipath resonator that has been patented back in the 80s. And again, with this type of laser, we basically address DME, AMD issue, phenomena, and basically create photocoagulation at the backside of the retina. One thing that we did basically using some research materials, we can identify the burn size as an outcome of the treatment. And my last slide for today, we are looking for the future. So we are looking to the yellow, which suppose, well, you would think that it would be easy. Apparently, it's not as easy as we thought. But to be honest, we have not seen dramatic changes between green and yellow. There are a lot of disputes, which means that there is no precise answer about that, but we are still looking forward to that area. And of course, always we are trying to improve the beam quality to minimize the burn effect on the backside of the retina. And to the epic question, as I said before, we are always looking for nice OEM clients. So if you wish to use one of our lasers, please send me an email. And the last and more important thing, as a productive company that also develops solutions, we also like to be able to collaborate with partners in new researches and new ideas in order to be able to extend our footprint in this sector. That's it. I'm done.
Thanks a lot, Elad. That was sounding clear. So your shopping list is there now. And the question is, concerning this yellow wavelength, what is exactly the support that you can get from this audience here in the room?
Well, as far as you know, or as far as I know, there is no crystal that can basically give us easily the 577 nanometer laser. So we are looking for, well, we try to do a cost-effective product, and we are looking for cost-effective way to basically shift or initiate a nice laser source that will not cause the client to pay too much for that. So any component that can allow us to do something like that will be more than helpful.
Okay, that means also the crystal itself as basics, but also then the optics, of course, that has to allow you also to build the complete system. Okay, okay. Is there someone here who wants to comment on this in this room at the moment? Otherwise, we can follow up later on with these detailed descriptions. So at the moment, they're all very quiet. Maybe Petteri, Petteri wants to, is smiling and unmuting himself. So
let us know when you have the yellow laser.
Sure, will do.
Okay, so there is someone on the other side who wants
Yeah, we all know that it's not easy task. Of course, there are some solutions available already, but yeah, I mean, there's certainly interest and need for having cost-efficient solutions there, and yeah, some companies are working on that also. So we'll see about that.
Very good, very good. So something that we didn't talk about yet today, really specifically, is beam shaping. But we have here Mateusz in the room from APE. Then maybe wants to introduce himself and tell us how he found the meeting so far and why did you attend? If you unmute, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity and for the introduction. Yeah, my name is Mateusz Ibeck from APE. This is the abbreviation of Applied Physics and Electronics. So we specialize in all optics stuff and also combining this with mechanics and electronics. And our main products is OPOs, OPAs, so optical parametric amplifiers and oscillators. These are used, for example, in multi-photon microscopy. We have also a lot of different other stuff, such as autocollators, for example, for the measurement of the pulse duration. Also beam shaping, but not so much, to be honest. So we have, for example, a pulse slicer where we can slice the part of the spectrum to change or to narrow the spectrum. We have also compressors. So these are all devices that are integrated in some housing and electronics and software to control this. And I think what we can also, or what my main interest in this meeting was, because we are working with a company in the US after eye surgery company that produces this eye surgery machines with integrated lasers. And also we have a collaboration now in Germany with a company, and we are providing sensors that can show or they can the word is missing right now in my head. So it can observe the laser and the pulse quality, pulse duration of the laser, its repetition rate. For example, there's cases that I know that lasers go to a 2-pulse or double pulse regime. Then the pulse energy for flap cutting, for example, is not enough. It's just heating the eye, and you want to stop the laser immediately, like in microsecond speed. And we are providing these devices as standalone or for testing, for example, and also as OEM solutions where we collaborate with the company. What they want, how fast it should work, what parameters are most important. And these devices, I have one here. So this is the standalone version. It's very small. Just put it in the beam somewhere in some, I don't know, 2% beam dump from the laser. And I think this is interesting for all integrators that build this.
And at which wavelength is working? At which wavelength range?
This is for 700 to 1100 nanometers. So what we came in contact with was mostly 1 micron fiber lasers or 1 micron lasers, which do the, material processing of the eye in different applications. I'm lacking the better word for that.
Very good. Then we have some monitoring system also here of the devices. Good to know that then you were listening. That was your final scope here. Yes. Very good. So if anybody is interested now, we know APE, that was you want to do. So you have already some experience, you said, and maybe you want to extend it in with other markets. That's really good. If someone has any comments to Mateusz's product, because it might be something that we didn't discuss yet, a bit of a but yeah, if it's not the case, we can maybe go to our last speaker. That today is Andreas from Hamamatsu. So welcome. The stage now is freed.
Okay. So thank you very much for having me. I hope you can hear me. I just share my screen.
Yes, we hear you.
Where is it? Sorry.
So the green button on the
I have the green button, but I don't.
You have to pick up the right screen. It's coming. It's coming.
Okay, we are here. Okay. So again, thanks for having me here at this interesting event. I'm a sales engineer at the Swiss office of Hamamatsu Photonics. For those who do not know Hamamatsu Photonics already, I give a very brief introduction. So as you might deduce from the name, we are a Japanese company. We were founded in 1953. We were manufacturing photonics products from the beginning. Was started with photo tubes, photo multiplier tubes, Vidicons, etc., light sources. So these were more glass technology-based product tube technology. It has been continuously been extended with the semiconductor-based sensors of all kinds. So today, Hamamatsu Photonics has more than 5,000 employees worldwide, over 15,000 products in the portfolio. So when I say product, I mean from a simple photodiode, LED, laser diode, or a sensor module. We have also devices like, for example, highly sensitive cameras, fast cameras, or complex application-specific instruments like drug screening systems. So we have some application-specific products, but lots of components that are not really limited to specific applications. If you visit our website, you might find some applications mentioned. There's also medical instruments, but also like automotive, which is a hot topic at the moment, consumer, etc. What we do not do is military. And if you look for ophthalmology on our website, you will not find anything. So actually, that's why I picked out two products that I like to present here. It's about beam steering. So beam steering of lasers, traditionally it's been done by using galvos, but now you can think of MEMS mirrors to do that. So following mirror, it can replace the conventional dual-axis galvo scanning system. The mirror itself has a diameter of 2 millimeters. It's shown here in the center. This is an electromagnetic type of mirror. It has a strong and stable permanent magnet, and which is packed in the package here. And it uses the MEMS mirror part itself, which is etched out of one single piece of silicon, and with the coils around which are deposited. So for simplicity reasons, this is just showing a single axis MEMS mirror. So this device can deflect your beam up to ±10 degrees, about around the 2 axis. Concerning operation frequencies, the mirror is a so-called quasi-static type. So that means it can be set and kept at any angle statically. Recommended operation frequency range is between 0 Hertz and around 100 Hertz. So electromagnetic MEMS mirrors work at low voltages in a range like smaller, let's say smaller than 10 volts, but because of the deflection is quite proportional to the currents, you typically control the coil currents and not the voltage. So Hamamatsu has done really great efforts to make this a very reliable component. It's available with a tilted window to guide surface reflections in a direction where they do not disturb. The interior of the mirror is kept at a low pressure to provide stable operation conditions. However, on request, this mirror is also available without window. And concerning the mirror itself, aluminum and gold coatings are planned to be available. So this mirror would allow you to design not only tabletop instruments, but also portable and handheld devices. This specific mirror is not yet on the website, but it will be released soon. Next one, if you have to scan at higher speeds, there is another model. This one is already available. The mirror has a fast and a slow axis, where the fast axis must be operated at the mechanical resonance frequency, which is in this case about 29 kilohertz. The slow axis, same as before, you can operate that from DC up to around 100 hertz. The reflecting part itself is somewhat smaller, having just a diameter of 1.23 millimeters. Deflection is a bit larger than with the other mirror, with a plus minus 20 degrees on one axis and plus minus 12 degrees around the other axis. Also, the mirror comes in a somewhat smaller package and is also hermetically sealed. With this part, it is possible to scan some tens of images per second. Just as an example, I can give you roughly the number. You could reach maybe something like 25 frames per second at an image resolution of 1280 by 960 pixels. Of course, there's always a trade-off between resolution and speed, so it's not quite simple to give accurate numbers here. So this mirror is already on the website. It's released, so just check out our website if you need more information about that. Then concerning sensors, I already mentioned we have a large number of standard sensors. As detector in your scanning device, you might find a suiting sensor in our standard range of photodiodes, avalanche photodiodes, or MPPCs, or also called silicon PMs. And please note that we are pleased to discuss your specific ideas in order to provide custom-made OEM modules. So for non-scanning setups, we can provide also some nice board-level cameras. Detection of special interest for ophthalmology, we do have so-called balanced detectors, where two equal photodiodes are connected in a way that cancels the common component of the two inputs. These are well optimized for OCT setups. Common mode rejection here is quite good at 35 dB. And we also have a patented structure that minimizes the internal multiple reflections, which could result in unwanted artifacts in your images. So here we have 4 versions available, optimized for 1.0 micrometers or 1.3 micrometers, and cutoff frequencies at 200 megahertz or 400 megahertz. Yeah, I think I'm already reaching the end of my time slot. So in summary, I wanted to address especially the optics and electronics designers. I wanted to make them aware that Hamamatsu can support your next development of an ophthalmology device with one of our other standard products, or if you want with a custom product. So if you like
thanks
to discuss,
a lot, Andreas.
yeah, just call us if you like to discuss. We're pleased to discuss.
We're always happy to have Hamamatsu in the room. It is clear what you can do for them, what they can do for you. I love the epic question, but I'm going to ask you anyway, because I want to collaborate with your people in Hamamatsu City. What can we do for you? What can you do for us?
Okay. What can you do for us? Very briefly, challenge us. Ask us, discuss with us your ideas. Even though you don't find certain things on the website, just get in contact with us. And what can we do for you? I mean, it's been mentioned, we have a wide range of products, and we are very open to discuss. We are in the future not only, we don't want to offer just detectors, but also modules. maybe with ASICs, specific electronics components, or also with a piece of optics included. So
let's challenge you. I love challenges. So you want challenges?
Optical engines.
If you want challenges, you're at the right place. We love challenges. When it comes to the CMOS detectors for ophthalmology, did you see any major interest in a particular segment or the different, because you have so many detectors at Hamamatsu, in a particular segment of the detectors at Hamamatsu for this particular market?
I can just speak for Switzerland. We have a request for our cameras, board level cameras. I mean, you probably know. Some people know us just for specific products, for example, cameras for the microscopists. So yes, we have requests for the CMOS cameras that are fast, low noise, and high quantum efficiency.
Intel on Optics has some demands about the CMOS sensors, very demanding ones.
Yeah. I actually jotted it down. I'd like to discuss with him his specific requirements, or otherwise he could discuss with me directly or with the Hamamatsu Photonics in the USA.
Okay.
But I'm sure we should have something for him.
It is very clear. For me, I got a lot of highlights of this meeting, but one of them is really from the beginning, the presentations on the femtosecond laser part. I want to go to one of my favorite next big things in the EPI community. I'm going to go to Warsaw because I love Warsaw, and I love Darius from Fluence. Thank you very much for being with us, Ciekuwie Parcio. What do you think of the potential collaboration with the companies that you have in front of you today? And also, what does Fluence do?
Oh yeah, so what Fluence does is femtosecond lasers. So we focus on all fiber constructions for many different applications, but also maybe we could find common ground with people who presented here. So what we do differently is we want to focus on stability and also small size, so that our lasers, like this one here, can be small, integrated inside a mobile device, and extremely stable even in harsh environments. And well, this is something we're focusing on. So if you're looking for any kind of ultra stable and ultra fast laser, you can give us a shout and tell us your requirements. And well, of course, we're also looking for new ideas and new components. So it was also interesting to hear what Hamamatsu offers. And I was actually wondering about your MEMS mirror. Like, do you know what's the damage threshold?
So from the application, it's rather a device for measuring for the detection side. I do not have numbers. If you want to guide your high energy laser via the mirror, I do not have numbers actually. I would have to check with the Japanese. So if you have specific numbers, we can check, but I do not have numbers at the moment.
Of course, but thank you very much. It's good to know about such solutions anyway.
Fluence is one of the ones to watch. Pay attention to this company, the femtosecond laser regime. In a few years, I'm sure that we are going to be talking about one of the success stories of Europe. What can we do with the EPIC network here to help you get better than you already are? What is your preferred future, and how can we help you get in there?
Yes, so how you can help you getting there. So the fact is you are already helping us a lot. So since we are a member of EPIC, we had many interesting chats with other members who are keen on guiding us and also provide important components that we would use in our lasers. And what's our future? Well, so we exploring different markets, of course, and looking for the best place for our products. And also, thank you very much, Jose, and thank you, Epic, for like showing us like what's popular nowadays in the market and where we should be aiming at. So this is very helpful indeed.
In Epic, we have every technology and platform, but we also want to cooperate and make people better. On the laser segment, we have in Hanover one of our beautiful members. Laser Centrum Hanover has been helping many of our members on developing processes that can help satisfy the customer. Max, thank you very much for joining from beautiful Hanover. Is there anything that we can help you to help our members get better?
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for the introduction. The Laser Centrum Hanover is a non-profit research organization, and we are always interested in new partners for new research projects. What we can offer is a wide range of measurement techniques like the multiphoton microscopy, biomechanical measurements of the lens and cornea, and other things. And yeah, the talks are very interesting for me, and I had a few things and a few topics to connect. The first is of Amplitude, where some of you future topics we are interested in. I can't say more about it and can't go into detail, but I think I will contact you, François, and maybe we can help Lambda-X with our biomechanical measurements of the lens, and this will also provide a measurement, OCT measurement of the lens, and maybe we can also measure the intraocular lenses for you.
Thank you very much, Max. I'm happy to make all the introductions. I would like to say now hello to the YouTubers and everybody in the Zoom channel. If you want to connect with anybody in the meeting, all you have to do is send me an email, jose.pozo@epic-asoc.com. Marcus, ready. Thank you very much for joining the meeting today. It was your first ever meeting from Opto. Marcus, what can we do to help your microscopes develop in a way that everybody would be crazy about them, which they already are?
Yeah. Thanks for this very nice introduction to the EPIC consortium, and it's the first time I'm in these meetings with you. Yeah, microscopy is with us for 40 years. We're doing stereo microscopes for LASIK. We are a contract manufacturer for 40 years, coming out of Leica, doing special equipment. We're producing imaging modules, so all about cameras, optics, stereo microscopes, and laser integration. Yes, that's it, and that's why we join EPIC, to have contact to your members. So some are our customers, some are our suppliers. So we are connected anyway in this field. So yeah, continue what to do, then it's okay. And what can we do for you? Okay, if somebody wants to build their products or wants to build modules or machineries, we are a contract manufacturers, 50 people here in Munich. So let's contact us.
Thank you very much, Marcus. Let's contact Marcus and let's work all together. We love doing that. I think we are going to close the meeting now. Francesca, are you ready to close? Let's close. Thank you very much for a nice meeting. I took a lot of notes. I always do because I love taking notes. For me, there is a lot of learning points today. First of all, the femtosecond laser, lots of opportunities here, especially in the coatings and in the pulse shaping. I think there is a clear opportunity for APE working with many of your for femtosecond laser manufacturers. I also saw a lot of lens and testing needs. Lambda-X looking for partnerships, and there we have actually Femto bring on the 3D printing of micro optics. We are living the revolution of the European micro-optics industry, and I think there is obviously another clear room for partnership. Intel on Optics was talking to us about the Brillouin and was talking to us about how we can work together. He gave us a challenge, try to find a very cost-effective 780 nanometers, and I think my friends from Tampere. My friends from Modulight are going to help them. And then we go to adaptive optics. I think this is going to grow like crazy in the coming years. Imagine Optic is developing amazing adaptive optics. My friend from Murcia, Optica, are also developing a great company on this. I think we're going to make lots of introductions in the coming years. Also, I'm very happy to see that Kerglance is developing steadily and that they are still looking for partners for the packaging assembly towards volume production of their OCT sources. The license for OCT, that we had a really nice presentation from Hamamatsu. It is clear that we have some nice approaches, especially from the superluminescent diodes of Lumentum or Superlum, and also from the laser diodes of Monochrome and Modulight. The next big thing, I think, is twofold today. I will choose the next big thing. Today is twofold. Today is the yellow laser from Monochrome, ELAD. I hope you get there soon. And the ultra-fast mode-lock lasers from A-Photonics. I selected here a couple of highlights. Amplitude gave us a great presentation about the room for future developments of femtosecond lasers in ophthalmology. I love the PDT work of Modulight, and I was quite impressed with 3 new companies that are erupting this world like crazy, which is Optica, Twice Vision, and Intel on Optics. Thank you very much for a great meeting. One more, Francesca, we did it. Thank you very much. Don't forget this. The ball is now on your court. If you want to contact any of the participants today, send me an email. We love connecting the industry. We love being epic, but most of that, we love to make you epic. See you soon. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you for the nice meeting. See you soon.